Hey everyone, I'm Stacey Epstein, and this is AI've Got Questions. Last season, I had such a great time talking to founders of marketing focused AI technology companies. But this season, we're doing things a little bit differently. I'm sitting down with some of the most highly respected CMOs and learning about how they are leveraging AI in their organizations so that you can learn it too. Let's hear who's next. Today on the show, I am thrilled to have my friend, Megan Eisenberg. We go back a while. I don't even remember how far we go back. Multiple jobs ago, multiple advisory board conferences. Just, I feel like our careers intertwined a little bit, but always have had a ton of respect for you and the work you've done.
Thank you.
Multiple CMO jobs, currently at Samsara. And I'm excited to talk about how you're leveraging AI, but let's start with talking about you. Tell our listeners a little bit more about you, your journey, and how you got to Samsara.
Sure. I have been at Samsara over a year. I was excited by the opportunity and the team here, and it's been a good journey so far.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And we've talked a little bit during your journey, so it's great to hear a little update. But let's get right to it. Let's talk about AI. You've been there a year. Took over a team. This is a public company, so this is not a little small startup. What was your take when you first got there? Did you immediately think, okay, let's start infusing AI?
Yes. Well, I mean, we're heavy tech users, 40, 50 different MarTech in our stack, probably more as in sales. And so always when I start, I hire in a technologist. That matters a ton. So hired in a technologist as we were building out the team. And it was about a few months in where things got really, I would say, heated up around AI and that we needed to start embracing it. So I would say, I started it back in August, but I would say it was closer to December, January. And it was very apparent that in order for one to develop the marketing team, that they were going to need to really understand how to use AI for productivity, how to use AI to build and to do other workflow and efficiency and just to time savings, everything. And so with the team, I really sat back with my leaders. I was like, okay, what do we need to do to transform the team so we start to build and adopt and understand? And so I would say way back in January, we went to way back, which sounds funny, but I feel every day is like a decade in AI. I said, well, one, let's make sure the team's aware what's expected of them. And I was really clear that, okay, when we go through our review cycles, you can't get the highest score unless you're showing that you're using AI and seeing real results and you could talk to it. So one, really saying, hey, that's the expectation. And then two, making sure the team could play with it and have fun. So the good news is our CEO is very forward on AI and really extended a lot of tools to the company. ChatGPT, Gemini, Notebook LLM when it came out, or Notebook LM, I should say, when it came out, and the ability to just buy tools and start using them. And so I said, okay, in 4 months, I am going to have a half-day meeting where anyone who's managing 2 or more people, we're all going to be in a room and you're going to present your org chart and what software they're using that's AI native and what they've built out. And you're going to go by person on your team and talk through that. And so that was a really good, I don't want to say forcing function, but kind of a carrot of what's coming, more like a hackathon. And then as we started to approach that, I started to see across the team several of them building tools. And that day was amazing. We have 120 use cases and not just your basic copy AI tools, let's build content. They started building, we got an MCP server on AWS. We started building, if you've seen out in the market, Profound, that allows you to look at how you rank
they were on
in
my show.
LLMs. Yeah, we built one in-house. We call it Lighthouse. Every day we run 300 prompts, which we used LLMs to create the prompts because as you know, it's non-deterministic and all the answers change. And so we look at our sentiment, we look at our rankings. If we're not cited as number one, we go figure out why. If it's an incorrect citing, we go get it fixed. The comm team jumps in and reaches out and has the citations updated and fixed. If it's content, the content team uses Copy AI and starts to build out listicles, FAQs. What do we need to make sure we're there? And if we're just not showing up because we don't have content, build that content. And we run it twice a day and we're constantly learning. And it's amazing the results we've seen because many of us are seeing organic search SEO sort of flatlining.
Totally.
Because LLMs are cannibalizing it. And so we have to address that. And now we're seeing a lot of sightings in Gong. And when we ask, oh, how'd you find out about us? Oh, I searched on ChatGPT for best dash cam and you showed up. And so we're seeing the benefits of that. And I would say even more recently, we started to adjust our press releases in a more FAQ style. And the results of that have been, we are cited way more than in the past. And not, we don't even have to put on the business wire. We're putting it on our website and it's getting pulled into citations because of the way we've learned and structured that. So the team across the board has been building amazing things. I'll say one more case study that came out during that half-day session is the team actually built an agentic workflow where we have Contentful for CMS, and it would take a couple of weeks to build out the ABM campaign, the landing microsite with the sales rep. Now we have it automated where it pulls in information from Salesforce, from the rep. It pulls in the relevant case studies. It goes and actually builds out the landing page. So it pulls in our branding guidelines from a different, these are all different systems where the content resides. And then it uses Perplexity to go do deep research to pull that in and builds it in less than 30 minutes. So imagine it took 2 to 3 weeks to do one. Now we can do a lot more. And so I'm really impressed by the team and what they're doing. And every function, the events team, they're building briefing docs that used to take 1 or 2 days. The field marketing team is enabling sales. Hey, you're about to meet with this customer. Here's your 2-day dossier or your prospect. Here's what we could find about them. Here's what you should talk about. Here's what they seem to care about. Here's where they've been on the website, and preparing that really quickly. And so I'm very impressed by the team. We have a bi-weekly AI Power Hour where we actually have the team, we get about 70 on the team on, and then they actually go and build it. They go into Gemini, they load the branding guidelines. They say, okay, I want to create a PowerPoint around this. Here's the notes from the meeting. Can you organize this? And just making sure everyone is comfortable doing all of these things. I think that's the biggest part of it. And certainly as a leader, leading by example. So throughout, the last 8-9 months, every morning I'm reading all the newsletters around AI and trying to figure out, oh, should I try this software? Should we look at this? And I'm sort of distributing that. Hey, team, can you go check this out? Hey, design team, our design team uses a ton of these AI, of course, native tools to build and video and different things. And they're doing it at a much faster pace than they could before. But as stuff came out, like the doll challenge came out, and I was like, okay, I got to build it. I got to figure out the prompt. I got to build it. Oh, wow. Now Kling.ai is animating it. Okay, I need to go animate it. And I would post it in the marketing channel. I'd be like, okay, I built it. Show me yours. Here's the prompt I used. And, it wasn't the whole team. You see gradual adoption, but people started to have fun. And then when they put their doll in there, it was all of a sudden you got to know them better. What are their likes? What do they put in their box? And then when you animated it, having them all do that. And so I think it's giving them the license to play with it, have fun. More recently, I thought, okay, I need to build an app. I need to do something around vibe coding. And so I was in London last week and I was jet lagged, and I said, okay, I got to do something.
Totally.
I had played with Lovable. I tried to build something for my daughter maybe 3 months ago, but personally, I was like, okay, what could I build? Every time I travel, I look for a couple things. One, I look for a Legree or Reformer studio so I can continue to keep in shape and wellness. And then I want a protein shake after. And so I built an app that actually you can enter the address in it, and it will pull up the studios, their walking distance, their Uber distance. It gives you a link to them so you can go book the classes. And then it gives you the shops and the distance for protein shakes. I love it. It's so, but it's amazing what I had to learn because I built it and then I realized the results were kind of fake. And so I asked, well, why does this actually, I put in an address I know and I expected the results and it didn't show it. And it's like, oh, well, you actually have to connect this to Google. You actually have to go find the API, the mapping SDKs and API. Oh, how do I do that? Oh, you need to create a Google developer account. Okay, so I went and created that account. And now you've got to find these mapping keys. And so, okay, I found those. Now you get the API. Now you got to enter it into Lovable. Now it started to connect it. But then I could find the location, but then I couldn't find the actual store. I wanted the actual direct link. So that was a different thing. And then, okay, by the way, you have to have a budget. This stuff costs money. And they give you $300, Google does, to play with it, I think, for 3 months. And so, setting that account up, but it's been fun. Cloudflare went down and also my app wasn't working and it had said, hey, it returned at this layer. And so what I will say is it's so fun because when I go and look at the code, I wouldn't have been able to write all that code from scratch, but I can now go in and make adjustments and design. And it's amazing how literal you have to be in your prompt.
Totally.
I mean, I was like, change the logo size and it blew up the whole screen. I'm like, no, no, no. I meant like make it, this size. And then I realized, okay, go build a logo using Copilot and then take that and load it in instead of trying to have it design it because it's not great at designing logos or use Figma or one of the other tools, Gemini, to design something. So I then sent that to my team, like, okay, go build something like this. And I did all of it on free so far, like Lovable. You get so many prompts a day. So every day I'd get like 10 prompts. I'd be frustrated when I did, oh, I shouldn't have asked that. Now I've wasted that prompt. But the next day I would go in and fix it. And then I posted it on X to see, and people would give me some feedback. And then I'd go in. So I don't know, it's, if anything, it's fun,
Yeah.
right? We're learning, we're playing with these new tools. And I feel like if I can do it, anyone on my team can do it. And
Yeah.
if I like encourage them to try, and by the way, this is a skill we all need in marketing. You're not
100%.
going to get a job anywhere if you cannot talk about these different tools. Now we have 26 different AI native tools in our stack on top of the other 40. So we've definitely embraced it. I feel like my team can talk to the language. They're much more efficient. I've held headcount flat. In some teams, I'm shrinking just because these tools are giving them the leverage they need. Now I'm doing that when people leave. I'm not forcing it, but I'm like, I really don't think we need to backfill in this role because we now have all these tools and we can see the results that they're driving. So all of that's been a lot, but a lot of fun.
I mean, I feel like I could just shut up and just let you continue to talk for the rest of the time. There's so much. I mean, there's like 10 different things I want to dive into that you said, but I'll just start with my first reaction, which is your enthusiasm for it is so palpable. And I mean, I always talk about the reason I started this podcast is because I felt like CMOs and marketing leaders knew they needed to do AI. I mean, it came on the scene so fast, but there's no blueprint. There's no like, okay, go take this class. It was just sort of this thing that we all needed to do, and we all knew it could be helpful, but we didn't really know where to start. And there's just something to be said for a leader who enthusiastically says, let's just do it. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to tell you all what to do. In fact, I'm going to let you all tell me what to do. So let's pull everybody together. Let's make it fun. Let's make it a team effort. You guys bring things to the table. And for me, that means, first of all, it's not all on my shoulders as the CMO to figure out what every single department in my team needs to do, but also just your demeanor makes people want to dive in and do it. I remember you posting your doll. I was you're a race car driver, right? Like, so fitting for Samsara, but I remember seeing it and like being like, okay, I need to do that too. That's so cute and fun. And I think we forget about that. We dive into the seriousness of, well, I still have my day job, but I have to do AI and my CEO's telling me and the board wants to know what I'm doing. And we forget that it's just fun. It's new. We're learning. There's pressure, yes, but there is no playbook that we have to follow. And so let's just pull our teams together and let's figure it out together. And I'm guessing that everyone on your team is so thrilled that they have learned so much and they've been given this freedom and space to just dream. And it's like that culture and that vibe that is, in my opinion, even more powerful than the mandate itself.
Yes, and every time someone unlocks a productivity or efficiency, or they've used something with AI and they share it on Slack with the marketing team, just the excitement of the team cheering and the results that go with it has been fun to see. You can see everyone wanting to do more of it. And, I'm competitive, so it's fun to be doing this. And I feel like, you hear it all over. The only thing we have as a competitive advantage in many of these tools is time and pace. And so if I can help the team increase the pace, that's what's gonna lead. And if we're increasing our pace and innovation with these tools, we will win and dominate in the market if we do it the right way. So I do see it as a way to continue to lead and market better and get our brand out there. And also it helps with hiring talent. Who doesn't want to work on a team, that is going to invest in their people to be working on and learning this new technology? When we're interviewing, we're asking, what are you playing with? What are you doing? What tools do you use at your current company? And it's a mix. Some companies are like, absolutely, they've locked it down. You cannot use any of these tools. They're worried about IP getting leaked. And so they haven't had a chance, but they talk about, I can't do it at work, but here's what I've been doing at home.
Mhm.
I've been working with Sora and I'm making cat videos, or
Mhm.
I created this calendar thing for myself from an efficiency standpoint, or I love to write a daily journal. And so I've been doing some stuff, or I'm learning how to play Mahjong, right? Like, so it's teaching me this. So
Oh,
I'm
that's a
looking for
good
those
one.
sort of things, people who are curious, people who want to learn and that have started using tools. And all of these tools have a free version. There's no one that, as long as you have a computer and an internet, there's no one that's out there that can't access and leverage AI tools and
Yeah,
learn about it.
100%. If people aren't using ChatGPT in their regular lives every single day, they're just missing out, or whatever the tool is. I just walked in the door earlier and my puppy had completely brought all the mud in onto the white couch.
No.
And, and I was just like, "Oh, and I have to travel later today." And my next thing was like, ChatGPT, I need a cover that will stay on that I can throw in the wash. I mean, I could have searched that, but literally
Yes.
it comes up with the perfect, this one won't slip and this one will be perfect. And the con is you have to get it measured. And within 20 seconds, I feel good. I have a solution. Now I just need it to clean it. But
Yes.
but yeah, I think that curiosity to build it into whatever it is. I love the Mahjong one. I also haven't thought about it using it as a journal. I like that. I feel like I do so much in there. It probably could write my journal for me. I want to dispel a myth and a conversation that I've been having both on and off the podcast, which is that the small startups are more advanced in their use of AI because small teams have to stay lean and they have to figure out how to do it. And I have had some smaller company growth stage leaders on my show that are incredibly AI forward and are doing great
Mhm.
stuff. But you're a big public company. You have a big team. How many are on your team?
230.
I mean, hello. This is
Yes.
like big public company who is just completely embracing AI. And I love to hear it. I love to dispel that myth. We've talked about it on the show. The legacy SaaS CMOs are going to go away because we can't figure out how to embrace AI. And I think you are just setting such a great example that, again, we don't have to know exactly how to embrace AI. We just have to start embracing it and help our teams embracing it, and we will learn. And now suddenly you're like coding apps in AI just because of attitude. And so much of this is just go for it. Just have a day. I mean, you're one of multiple people that have talked about your day that you've done. There's been the like, let's everyone get in a room and talk about the things we hate doing, and then let's figure out how to make AI do them. There's been multiple variations, the use case days, but I think it's just such an easy way to get started. Embrace it, have a day, pull your team in, and do it together. This doesn't have to be something that sits on the shoulders of the CMO alone.
Yeah, I agree. I think from a change management standpoint, I think certainly if your CEO is providing the tools and leaning in and saying, I want to hear it. And on all hands, we have different departments showcase how they're using AI. It just reinforces the expectation. And then I think in the different teams, yes, have a technical partner that helps you unlock some of these things. If you want to build the agentic workflows, take the classes. There's some free stuff. I took an Outskill class over the week. It was maybe 2 months ago. It was a weekend, Saturday, Sunday free class. Now they spent a third of it advertising to take their 2-week class. But in that, the first day was all about productivity, and the second day was about using, building and using agents. And so that was very, useful. And I think that if you're leading and you're setting the expectation and you're rewarding those that embrace it, you're going to see the adoption. And so regardless of the size, we do have a large team. We also run a web store and we have product marketing and we're a multi-stack marketing team. And we benefit from having an engineering team running the web store, running the website. But, the desire to embrace it and then reward folks that are using it certainly helps.
Yeah, amazing. Can we just talk about your tech partner for a second? Does that person sit in the markups team? Are they separate? Do they interact with IT? Like, how does that go? I've heard there's the AI czar. My last guest had an AI czar that reported to the CEO. How does that tech partner work for you?
We definitely have an AI team that sits on really, I would say, sales enablement side. But this particular person I've worked with a long time. but is vice president of marketing technology, systems, operations, and website. So manages all the engineers already
Nice.
and does have the analytics team under him as well. And so he's just always been someone who's learned new technology, embraced it. He could do all these things hands on, and he can lead, leader of leaders as well. But it's been important to me. I always have wanted a good MarTech stack. I think it's a huge advantage, right? It's you can innovate, you can scale, you can do things obviously that you can't do with just people. And so I've always had a sophisticated MarTech stack. This year has been fun because it's all these new tools and there's so many. I would say the team actually wanted someone just on the team to evaluate new tech. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. I feel like that's all of our responsibility out there to demo. So I've seen a ton of demos of these MarTech AI tools. So I've seen a lot of them myself. The team's evaluated a lot. And it's going to be continual. And then you see the bigger companies wipe out some of the companies because they just build it in part of a free version or something.
Yeah. Do you have a take on build versus buy? I feel like there's this option of going with your existing vendors that are adding AI versus buying the new native AI shiny toy. Do you have an opinion?
I mean, I don't want to build everything, right? We're not experts in keeping up on everything that's in there. If it's something we could build, if the vendor wants to charge 100,000 and my and the team can build it in 2 weeks, then I build it. But if it's a reasonable price and they're going to maintain all the edge cases and use cases, I think you buy. But if it's something you want time to market or advantage on it, and you're going to bring something to it, and you have a team that can manage and digest it, then you build. But I try not to build too many things we have to maintain that are critical.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, my guess is my viewers would love for me to make this one much longer because you have so much awesome stuff to say, but I'm going to try to keep my promise to keeping it around 20 minutes. So I'm going to let you go, but I would love to have you back on. I love how much you're embracing it and the just palpable enthusiasm for it. So I will have you back on. Keep those awesome AI stories coming. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.